الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد, I'll continue from where Nurul Zaman, one of our young students of our Dars Nizami, the Islamic Sciences course, inshallah make dua that these youngsters continue to work hard and inshallah become the future imams, khatibs and leaders of this community, inshallah. Say Ameen. It's from you, it's the youth, it's the public that we are, and these youngsters we want to empower. As you know, last year we had 12 of our young Hufaz that led Taraweeh around Manchester. This year we have 16. And then we have students that are doing short talks. Inshallah, the future is bright. We continue to focus, working with our youth and giving them the opportunities to gain that experience, that inshallah, the future looks bright. Continuing from where he left, talking about Sayyidatu Nisa'i Ahlul Jannah, the Queen of Paradise. It's a blessing that we even mention her name. It's of virtue that we are even given the permission by Allah Rabbul Alameen to utter the blessed name of Fatima. Not everybody can do that. Just like not anybody can mention the name of Allah or the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. The same aqidah we have, we believe in the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam's household as well. They are honored by virtue of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. Today being, I believe, the 6th of Ramadan, on the 8th we have the demise of her honorable mother. When we talk about Sayyidatu Nisa'i Ahlul Jannah, the Queen of Paradise, we talk of her akhlaq, her mannerism, we talk of her modesty, haya, a message for our sisters that are listening, or for our men here who go home, have daughters and have sisters. When we say she is our role model, then living in a climax where we have social media and modernity and Western influence is very fast creeping into our Islamic morals. And we're breaking away slowly and slowly. And the one thing that the West is stripping away from our hearts and our eyes is modesty, is haya. When we say she is our queen in paradise, then our queen was one who had the highest level of modesty that no woman, no man ever saw her hair. If she is our role model, then this community has forgotten their role models then. What we see outside, what you see in weddings, what you see in programs, what you see on Windsor Road, I really question myself, are we as a community, do we ever look up to our role models anymore? Or is it just lip service? Something deeply for us all to really consider. But where does this modesty come from? How do you teach a child modesty? That discipline is instilled from the mother. If the mother is of haya and modesty, the daughter automatically will see at home the level of haya and modesty mother is exercising. The daughter automatically will take influence. If mother herself never covers her hair when she steps outside the house, tell me what chances are that the daughter will have hijab on. And then we still say she's our role model, that she is the queen. Such a queen will reject all of these people, because we've not learned anything from that queen. Now this queen of Jannah that we talk of, the modesty and haya she learned was directly from her mother. Who was her mother? Her mother was the most beloved wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The wife that he will remain in the contract of marriage from the age of 25 till 50. Almost 25 years he remained married and married no other woman in that duration. only married to Sayyidah Khadijatul Kubra radiallahu anha. A deep love. So much so that when he migrated to Medina Munawwara, and we know that the several marriages he did for political reasons, in order to establish the community in Medina Munawwara, he had those additional marriages. Sayyidah Aisha one day asked, Ya Nabi Allah, why do you keep mentioning that old woman? Why do you keep mentioning her? And when she said that, Hadith described, Nabi salatu wasalam became silent. Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha knew straight away, I've said something wrong. So she approached again. Ya Nabi Allah, what have I said that's upset you? You become quiet. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Oh Aisha, do not hurt me with your words regarding that woman, because she is the most beloved of my wives. When nobody supported me, the support I had was from my wife Sayyidah Khadijatul Kubra radiallahu anha. How many of us can have even mention our wives to other people in a supporting manner? That my wife supports me. We're quick to mention the negative. My wife does this, she's not like this, she said this or did that. But how often do we mention the positive aspects of your relationship? Something we learn, subtle things we learn from the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He mentioned the sons and the daughters of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. The daughter Sayyidah Zainab, Sayyidah Ruqayya, Kulthum. All of these daughters passed away in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His sons, Abdullah, Qasim, Tayyib, Ibrahim, all of these sons and daughters passed away in the lifetime of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another very deep message. Many of us will know people, and I personally know, this is why I'm speaking about it. They've had a miscarriage, or a child died few hours after birth, a few months, few years, and we start to lose hope in the mercy of Allah. And if a child is born and there's a stillbirth, I've seen my community question, why did Allah do this to me? Why did I have to go through this? What did I do to deserve such punishment? And we start to question Allah's qudra. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The message we learn alone just from this. Sayyidina Ibrahim, Qasim, Abdullah, Sayyidah Zainab, Sayyidah Ruqayya, Sayyidah Kulthum, 6 or 7 offspring of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam he buried with his own hands. With his own hands, and his blessed wife as well. Show me anywhere in a hadith that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam ever complained, Ya Allah, why did this happen to me? Never complained. Now really something I wanted to address. As Muslims, how do we approach bereavement? And especially the bereavement of the passing away, on the passing away of a son or a daughter. Quran describes in Surah Yusuf, La tayasu min rahmatillah. Do not lose hope in the mercy of Allah. We have the Quranic example of Musa alayhi salam and Khidr alayhi salam. Did Khidr alayhi salam not kill that child? And when Musa alayhi salam questioned, the answer given was, Oh Musa, you were not aware that the evil that this child would have carried out in his lifetime, it was better for him to leave this dunya than to remain on this dunya. There are huge, great wisdoms and hikmahs behind when somebody leaves this dunya. Every person, لَن يُؤَخِّرُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. Surah Munafiqun describes that when the time of death comes to you, لَن يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا. The time of death is not going to be delayed by a single second, a single breath, an extra heartbeat. You cannot experience if death has been prescribed for you. And if death has been written for you, rather than blaming and looking to accuse others, then believe that it was the destined time. This was the perfect and suitable time for this person to leave from this dunya. Whether it be a child, whether it be a wife, whether it be a parent, whether it be a very loved individual. And then, which leads me on to the next discussion. When somebody passes away, are we as a community aware of their rights? What are the rights of the deceased individual? Have we ever looked into this? How many of us are actually trained to actually wash a body? Many of us are too busy in our work, business life, work life, that we don't think about these things. And it's a taboo subject to talk about death. To talk about one day, my parents will also leave. And the normal order in this dunya is, because your parents have 20, 30 years on you, most likely they will leave this dunya before you, the way the world works. Have you ever thought that if that day ever arrives, am I trained to wash my father's body? The daughters that are listening, are we trained to wash the body of my mother? Or are we just going to ring the masjid, you guys deal with it, let us know when it's done? That you don't want any participation at all in the rights of your own parents and your loved ones. Because it's a taboo subject, nobody wants to learn. Nobody wants to discuss it either. We must take on this training. Every year, at least 2 or 3 times in this masjid, we have a program where funeral rites and all of these arkan and these responsibilities are taught as a course material. How the shrouding is to be done, how the washing of the body is to be done. But the question really is, we as a community, are we prepared for any incident that may happen? I leave the question with you guys as a wake-up call. That's one thing, you must be trained to do that. Another burial right of that deceased is that that person be buried as soon as possible. As soon as possible. The hadith describes, and we know from the fatwa that ulama have described, that there should not be a delay of more than 3 days maximum. The normal practice has always been that you bury that as soon as possible. I understand we have to go through paperwork in this country. So if there's a delay by authorities, or there a necessary delay that's beyond your control, understandable. But there should not be a delay just because somebody wants to view the body, or somebody's coming from abroad. So you're going to hold on to the janazah. So what did they do with this deceased person? They leave him in a freezer. I've seen those bodies when they come out. It's like when you go to a butcher shop and the meat comes out stone cold. That's how the bodies come out. Let me describe a hadith to you. Imam al-Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam described. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that when handling the body that is deceased, a loved one, handle him with care. Because every movement that body experiences. The hadith in Bukhari describes, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, hold that body with care. Because breaking a bone or fracturing a bone, yet he may be deceased, he experiences the same type of pain as if somebody living would experience the pain of a fracture or a breaking of a bone. Fatawa Shamiya I described to you. Ulama have described there's an extensive fatwa on this. That when you're washing the body, take care, be easy, use reasonable water, not too warm, not too cold. When you're handling the body and you're carrying it down to the graveyard, don't be rocking the body too hard. It feels the pain. The question we really should be asking ourselves is, how much pain would we want to experience if that was us lying there? I want to begin with that first. And I'm going to build in a discussion on that in the next 5 minutes. How much pain would you or I want to experience if that was me to be lying there, to be carried and taken around? How much warm water would I want to be used? Would I, alive, would want to be put in the freezer for 3 nights? I'm asking myself this question. You ask yourself that question. So when you do that to a loved one, a mother or a father, a child or whoever it may be, do you not think they also experience that pain? Why do we make them go through all of that? Ask yourself that question. And the challenging question I want to ask, and this is a trend which is changing now. Before, the trend was we would send bodies from the UK back home. The trend is changing now. Since January 2025, as I am aware right now from this masjid alone, if I'm not wrong, 6 bodies have been imported from abroad into the UK. The trend is changing. People are bringing bodies across here now, back here. When that happens, I don't think people realize the delay, the pain, the cost involved. And even though I'm only mentioning it for awareness, and I am very, very much aware that I'm saying it is going in one ear, out in the other ear. Because when a loved one passes away abroad, nobody asks what the fatwa is. Nobody asks what the Shariah says. Nobody wants to know the Sunnah. All decisions are made on emotions. These are very emotional decisions that are made on the spot. No, dad's body, mother's body has to be brought here no matter what happens. Go back to the hadith for a second. The pain that you go through. I would not want to be put in a freezer for 3 nights. The deceased that's lying there abroad. We had a recent one a few weeks ago. Allahu Akbar. From the time he passed away till he was brought to the UK and buried, there was a time lapse of 14 days. 14 days went by. And I hope, and even if those family members are here, I'm only using that as an example, I'm not hitting on you. We need as a community to realize and awaken what we are doing to our loved ones. If the Prophet ﷺ was alive today, ask yourself, what would the instruction be for you? The instruction would have been bury him there and then, as quickly as possible. Because the longer he stays above earth, he's experiencing pain. He's at more ease when he's buried. But when we cause a 14-day delay, and then the bodies are transported as cargo over here, then you have the process of embalming. We don't realize what they're doing to the body. I wouldn't want anyone pacing through my leg, removing all the fluids and injecting material into my body with chemicals and fluids in order to preserve the body. And then when the body arrives here, there's a message. Do not open. This is what we're doing to our bodies. But like I said, it may well be the case through one ear, out the other right now. Because these are very emotional discussions, and these decisions are made on the spot. That has to be, or somebody has to be brought back here. Look, and why is that the case? Or if you're sending bodies abroad, Abba ji ne ya walida ne kaha tha Pakistan mein hi mujhe dafn karna hai. These discussions happen. तो लिहाजा ये उनकी आखिरी ख्वाहिश थी, पूरी करके ही छोड़ने जो मर्जी हो जाए. Allahu Akbar. I mean, those desires in Sharia, let me give you the fatwa. Such desires and wishes are void, are not to be executed. They're rejected. But because we don't want to shift the burden away to somebody else, right? Bhej do bhai, jaane do. Let it go. The cost involved, the time that is taken, and the transportation of the bodies and the embalming. Really, how much pain are you putting them through? And just for what? A desire that somebody expressed, but which is rejected by Sharia. A very good friend of mine actually put an argument forward, and I want to share the message with you. Imagine that same parent said, from my inheritance, don't give them anything. That was their last desire. Would that desire be accepted? Would that wish be fulfilled? The answer is no. Why? Because you need the money. You want the finances. So that desire of the mother or father, no, reject that one. Put it away. But when mom or dad said, send me back home, yeah, we'll do that straight away. I mean, we're no longer following the Sharia. This is the matter right now. We're following our desires. And we're following the desires that we've left with. Nobody's upholding the Sharia of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I understand these are difficult discussions, but because nobody is discussing it and there is no awareness on this, and this is becoming so common now that several bodies are brought across from other countries into this country. And if it's en route or something, I understand. But if it's after so much cost that's involved, when instantly somebody passes away, believe me, 5-6 members will fly out straight away. 5,000-6,000 pound in flights on the go. Embalmment costing another 4,000. Burial here in UK, another 3,000. Other expenses, easily one body is costing, if I round the figure up to 20,000 pounds. When that could be done in a few hundred abroad. Really, I want this community to really rethink our approach to this. And ask ourselves, how much pain would I want to experience after my death? The hadith is saying every movement, every slight pinch, even the temperature of the water needs to be perfect. Do not move it so rigorously that it feels more pain. Take ease and calm. But when we send it on a flight around the world, because there's no direct flights going to Pakistan or coming here, you're changing flights and all of this, and by the time the body comes here, they tell you don't open the body, don't unzip, leave what it is. Allahu Akbar. Allah Ta'ala Shariat par amal karne ki tawfiq ata farmaye. My role is to get the message out to you. And really we need to think with the Sharia, not with emotion. These decisions should be made just the way we want to fulfill other ahkam of Sharia. This should be our priority, that when a deceased passes away abroad or passes away here, this transporting, they call it a cargo. This cargoing of bodies, we really need to snap out of this routine. Allah Ta'ala amal ki tawfiq ata farmaye. Barakallah.